You're listening to the No BS Bishop podcast. We're alive to love, and all other values are potential BS. Now here's your host, Bishop Randy Dean.
Welcome to you all. I'm Randy Dean, the No BS Bishop. I'm alive to love. I believe lesser values than love are potential BS, and that is bait and switch, and it might be other iterations of BS if it so fills the need for your thoughts. But my goal here, and has been now for 6 years, is to call you upward and onward in life beyond the BSing stages of baiting and switching people and BSing people in other ways, and go after a life of love. That's why I'm here. I mean it. I'm serious about this in every way that I can possibly be, to engage your thoughts and to get you to think more deeply than you ever have before about the serious matter of a life lived for love alone. All right, and so what I do in order to get us on the trail for that conversation is I offer you the Lord's Prayer, which we'll do in just a moment, followed by Love's Creed. An interesting side note here, this weekend that you'll be hearing this recording on WPCA and maybe on the podcast by this weekend, but I'm going to be at a church in the Twin Cities sharing on this subject of living life in times of love, in times of great stress, and how love addresses a life of testing. So Love's Creed will be the centerpiece of my message at that church. So it's pretty important to me, as you can tell. So first of all, let's get right to the Lord's Prayer, the most prayed prayer in human history, prayed by multiple millions of people over 2,000 years. It's the wisdom of Jesus when his disciples said, "Teach us how to pray." What a simple but profound question and request. And then he taught them these words. And so if you know them, join me. If you don't, just listen in and tune your soul, your mind, your spirit into these words that come from the wisdom and heart of Jesus when he taught us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Simply, profoundly beautiful prayer and a meditation for life. Well, and speaking of a meditation for life, Love's Creed is a creed that I wrote. It's a personal creed, not something developed over anything more than 10 years ago. The creeds that we say in churches, they're centuries and centuries old. But this was a New Year's resolution for me about a decade ago, and I wrote it, and then as I read it, I realized I think I may be on to something here. I want to hang on to this, and I want to make sure it's offered to others. So it's been here, it's on the podcast. I've shared it on Sunday Night Sanctuary, which is a Sunday evening Facebook live broadcast that I've been doing now for about 5-6 years almost. At any rate, Love's Creed fills the bill for me, and then I've found for others, it really stabilizes how people view a life lived for love. So let me read it for you in total, then let's go back, and I'm going to ask you to repeat after me like a bride and groom at a wedding altar. All right, here we go. Here it is in total. I'm alive to love. I am not on this earth for hate. I'm alive for love. I'm not breathing, eating, and sleeping to regain energy for causing pain. I am alive with plans, dreams, and designs locked into anything and everything that is love. I am unavailable for anything less than love. There you have the totality of it. Now let's go back, and I'll have you repeat after me. Why? Because it's so vital for us to have some truths that are so fundamental to us that we hear our own voice say, this is what I am, what I intend to be, and how I want to live my life, all right? So repeat after me, if you will, please. I'm alive to love. I am not on this earth for hate. I'm alive for love. I'm not breathing, eating, and sleeping to regain energy for causing pain. I am alive with plans, dreams, and designs, locked into anything and everything. That is love. I am unavailable for anything less than love. All right. Well, there you have it. So if you'd like a copy of this, you can send me an email at randydeanministries@gmail.com. That's Randy Dean Ministries, all one word, all lowercase, at Gmail. Be happy to send you a copy because it would be helpful if you had this at your hand's reach in your phone, your device, wherever you might need it or want it, maybe on a 5x7 card that you can just set on your sink in your bathroom or however you wanted to use it. I think it would be valuable. I really do. Well, and speaking of value, one of the values I try to communicate in a lot of venues where I'm asked to speak, and I have offered this to you every time for 6 years, and it is being able to say the three most holy, charmed, and magical words in the human language with full intentionality, with strength of heart and mind, to look someone in the eye and say, I love you. And yes, it's awkward, it's weird, it's startling, all those things. I know. I've heard it all. and yet I feel so attached to the challenge that I want to offer people to give this a shot, give it a try. So I look at our world and especially here in the United States of America, and the chaos, the confusion, the miseries that are happening amongst us, how we're being pitched back and forth by political forces, and the tribalism of our nation right now is suffocating. It's hard to even know how to have family get-togethers, for instance, without being thrown in the middle of some kind of pitched verbal battle or worse. So in response to that, I simply feel that it's one small method that I can offer to people to be able to say these words, these three words. You're not taking a right or left, liberal or conservative, Republican or Democrat or independent political stand. You're being a human being, a valid and valued human being who is daring to step aside from the vitriol and the pain of a lot of things that are happening in our conversations and saying just three words. I love you. I know. And I get pushback here and there from people who say, well, that's hard. Well, it is hard, yes. But isn't it also hard to be involved with all these debates and miseries and fights and verbal battles that we're in? Well, yeah, that's hard, but it's hard and destructive when we go there. How about having just three words that are hard to say that are constructive? They're not destructive, they're constructive. It's enforcing a strength of character, a strength of connection with people. It's offering to people not just a moment of peace, but a real nugget of truth and life to chew on. Hey, did you hear what he said to me? He said, I love you, just like that. And I'm not sure what to do with that. What a better way to have a conversation than to talk about love. So I haven't reviewed why I do this very much lately, and I don't intend to do that for very long right here. But just for the sake of this recording, I want to remind all of you that having someone say to me, I love you, was impoverished as far as my relationship, especially with my father. And he admitted to me when I was 19, and he was very sick, that he realized at that point when he had almost died that he hadn't said those words to me. He hadn't told me, Randy, I love you. And it really hit me hard, hit me like a like a pie in the face. That it was hard to swallow. It was hard to navigate. It was beautiful, of course. It was striking, but it really has left an indelible mark in my mind and my thoughts. Also in my life, I had prior to this conversation with my father, I had a man who came to my home when I was just a teenager in high school, and he had shared with my mother. He had a dream about me, and he came to the home, and I've shared this story before. He used to visit. He was a visiting pastor from a local church, and I knew the guy's car, and I always avoided going home when I saw his car in front of our house. But he parked around the corner. He snuck up on me, and anyway, I walked in, and there he was, and he said God had given him a dream about me, and he wanted me to sit down and listen to the dream, and he said, God told me to tell you, I love you. God loves you, and so do I. This, on behalf of this man, he said, and so do I. Well, there again, it was crazy, just phenomenal how it just punched me in the metaphorical gut, and in a good way. It just left me hanging on tight for life. Well, so to that end, with those dramatic moments in my teenage years, I've carried forward in this life the commitment, the courage to know how to say that to people as often as I know how to say it, and wherever I can say it, and to whom I can say it, or finding somebody that looks like they've been love-starved or whatever the case may be, and offering them those three magical words. I know how the reactions fall. I know how the eyes flit back and forth when I'm trying to make eye contact. I'm familiar with that. But I'm also, beyond all of that practical ideation there, I'm very aware that we're living in a love-starved time. And like we've shared together in Love's Creed, we're living as though we're alive to hate, we're alive to debate, we're alive to fuss, we're alive to pitch metaphorical, emotional, psychological grenades across the battle lines. We act as if like that's the way life is. And I'm suggesting rather profoundly here that ain't life. That's something else, and whatever else that is, I'm not interested. I don't want to live in that poverty. I want to live in the prosperous idea that love is our treasure. Love is our gold. Love is the mountain we climb. Love is the race we run. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. Love is the hard work that we do. Love is the heavy lifting that we do. So to that end, I've been here saying these words and challenging you to join me in a love revolution that has a practical practice, and that is simply saying, I love you. Now, let me review just a little bit of an outline about that. I know there are so many layers of discomfort and some potential awkwardness associated with this, but I also know what it means to look people in the eye when they're talking to you, and looking people in the eye when you're talking to them. Not darting your eyes back and forth, which has a lot to do with our fear of intimacy and our fear of real human connection. But aside from saying I love you with eye contact, keeping eye contact, listening to people, seeing their eyes when they're sharing something with you, or looking people in the eye when you're talking and making sure you're making some connection. There's a lot of layers to this. We're in a day and time, and the genie's out of the bottle. We can't put the digital cell phone genie back in the bottle. It's out, and so people will have their face buried in their cell phones. I'm just as guilty as anybody. People have their face pointed at a computer screen. I'm talking to you right now, and I'm looking at a recording going on as I'm talking, keeping track of time and my voice inflections here. But what I'm saying is that we've developed some bad habits about connecting with each other. And I mean organically, not just connecting through a text or an email or even a phone call, but connecting human to human, eye to eye, giving the space of real connectedness, and then throwing into that connectedness the recipe of love. These words, I love you, these words, my goodness, these words. I love you. We wrap ourselves around that in different iterations, don't we? We'll say, "Hey, love you," and then we run away before the person can respond or before we get too uncomfortable. Love you. Hey, bud, love you. We really make it into one word. Love you. I see this often where an adult child will be with their older parents, and saw one just the other day. It was a perfect example of what I'm talking about here. This adult child was with their mom and dad off in a meeting that I was a part of, and I saw the connection. I saw mom and dad smiling with pride for their adult child, and the adult child turned and said, and as they turned away, said, "Okay, mom and dad, love you," and then walked. And for just a brief moment, I saw mom and dad, maybe, I don't know, close to 80, if not older, stand there as if to say, "Oh, wait, come back, say it again." Or, "Come back, we didn't have a chance to respond." It was very pointed, and it wasn't a bad or negative thing, but it was emblematic of what I'm talking about here. We're in such a damn hurry. We're just trying to keep going in our workaday life, and we're moving on, and we slide love in there like it's a Post-it note that we're going to just stick on a windshield so somebody will see it maybe. I'm proposing that let's stop putting it on a Post-it note. Let's put it right in our voice and on our face and look someone straight in the eye and say it. So I know it's difficult, and I know that it could be mistaken for being a romantic connection if you're saying it to a friend or even a stranger. I know that. But it's still worth the risk. And you can say, I don't mean this romantically. I don't mean this in any other way, except I want to make sure the air and the space between us has the magic and the beauty of love. And I know it's not romantic, or I know it also could be romantic, but in the right context, even when it's romantic, to put it into a more specific and practical and connected way. I also know that this needs to be inserted in our family gatherings more specifically, more, I don't want to say comfortably, but more as a regular process of what we do as families. To heal all these bitter, vitriolic sides and tribalism that even enter our family spaces. To put love in the middle of this is so vital. And again, it's not just a family thing, but if it becomes that, then it's a thoroughly healing thing. And I know it can be related to friendships. And those friendships can be strained, again, because of politics, or maybe the friendships are old and we haven't really been serious about telling our friend what we appreciate about them, but love gets in there. And again, it's just love can get in there if we open the door, if we just crack that door open with a friendship. To say it, and listen to me again as I'll close. The greatest mistake we make in life is thinking we still have time. And then if you turn that around to other people we see all the time, the greatest mistake beyond thinking we have time to do the things we want to do, well, another mistake we make is thinking that our friends are always going to be there. Well, there's no guarantee of that. Whether car accidents or sicknesses or tragic events, a friend can disappear. And we'll wish the rest of our life to have our friend back where we can say, "Hey, I love you." So it's not just about friendships, though I would urge you to join me inserting this into your friendships to build and deepen your friendship connection. Again, maybe if nothing else, it starts a conversation. And I've had a few of those where by my challenging people to say I love you, it starts a conversation, and people are stumbling around and fumbling around and towing the ground and wondering, what do I do now? But have that conversation and talk about, why is this so challenging to us? Why are we so awkward with just 3 words? Why are we so fumbling and bumbling with 3 words? Well, it's because there's this human intimacy factor involved, and it seems to me like we want to do almost anything except just deal with real intimacy and real friendships and real romantic connections and real family connections and even stranger connections. I've said here before, and I'll say it here now, that I hope, I can't guarantee this, but I hope my last sentence on earth in this life will be, I love you. And maybe it'll be a family member, maybe it'll be a doctor, maybe it'll be somebody at the scene of an accident. I don't know. I don't know how I will slip from this life to the next. I don't know. You don't know. Those things are left to whatever circumstantial events that are going on around us. I would hope that my family will be around me, and I can say it with eye contact as much as I physically am able at that time, and with perhaps even my last breath. What a great inheritance to leave family, right? What a great blessing. You know, the Bible has stories of how the patriarch or the matriarch blesses their family. Well, what a wonderful, magnificent blessing to leave for your family, if possible. So it's my goal, and that's all I can say about that. It's just tucked in my mind, and maybe I'll be able to do it in manners that are practical, and maybe it'll be impractical. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, I hope that my last breath is filled with those words. I love you. So I know there are people who will say, well, love is more than just saying it. Love is bigger than that. And I certainly know that. I'm not arguing the point that you're just saying it's going to take care of everything. What I'm saying is, if you demonstrate love in your practical means, your labor, your day-to-day connections and relationships, that's a beautiful thing. Congratulations. God bless you. I'm asking you to take those practical applications of love and add this little spice to it. Isn't it amazing how just a little bit of spice in a chili recipe can change the whole thing? Isn't it beautiful how you can add a little extra salt to those French fries and they're better? Or how you can bring a little extra difference into a day that is just an ordinary, regular day when you stop and say, I love you. So this is my challenge. It's a gauntlet I've thrown down, and I continue to throw it down, and I'm spending a little more time on it today to make sure that I'm clarifying what I'm saying. I've had in practicalities, I've had people review with me, well, what do you mean and how do you want this to be done? And I've adjusted my challenge with this. I've been in places where I've said, you can't leave the room until you say to somebody, I love you. Well, I've stopped doing that because I don't want it to be overly coerced or forced. But I do want to make sure that it's on the table. I do want to make sure that people understand that I mean it. I'm not just fooling around here. These 3 holy, magical, charmed words are life-changing. With eye contact, I love you. Well, I'm going to bring this for a close, and that's how I close every No BS Bishop, is to challenge you to find somebody and say those words. And again, listen to this again if you're able to, and review how this is a difficult and but a very purpose-filled challenge. I want you to be reminded that, like I said, the biggest mistake we make is thinking we have more time. I'm asking you to join me and be present, be kind, love more, love now. Get past the procrastination. Get past the well, okay, tomorrow I will. Find a way to do it now. Wherever you are, even if you're alone, make some kind of note to self. Let's get this done before the day is done. Because the biggest mistake we make is thinking we have more time. I'd give everything I own to have one more day with my dad to ask him some questions that I've got so many questions about his life, but I don't have that luxury. That left my life in 1979, a long time ago, and I've wondered about a lot of things in that man's life that I will never know until I meet him again in the next life. So, be present, be kind, love more, love now. Mother Teresa said, "Go into the world today and love the people you meet. Let your presence light new light in the hearts of others." What she is saying there is to keep yourself at some level at all times with intention cooking in your soul. To walk into rooms wherever they may be and whoever is in those rooms, however connected to the people you are with in that room, are simply a stranger in the middle of a room of strangers, whatever the case may be. Enter that room and let your presence light new light in the hearts of others. You don't even have to speak. You can carry the positivity of the power of love into every room, every store, every office room, every passerby, every friend, every family. Well, I'm not Mother Teresa. I'm Bishop Randy Dean, and what I'm here to tell you is that ugly is getting done to death, isn't it? Ugly is being promoted. It's being used to pitch us against each other. Ugliness in words and behavior is being pushed as a method of getting our way or you take the highway sort of relationship. I think our nation is being torn apart by that kind of ugliness. I believe it's time for the people of beauty to do something beautiful. Why? Because ugly is getting done to death. There's not much I can do about laws that I can get changed for gun control. I can speak my mind, I can give my opinion, but at the end of each and every day, there's not much left at my reach right now. But one thing I know I can do is to make sure the next room I enter is a better space, because I entered with positivity, with hope, and especially with love alive inside of me. I've activated love for the people that I'll see in that room. It's really just that simple. So as I bring us to a close here, one more time for emphasis, catch somebody's eye. Say the three most holy, magical, charmed words in the human language, whatever the language may be, German, Spanish, French, English, whatever it may be. Find a way with the person that you are aware of in any given moment that they need these three words. I love you. And by the way, one great and powerful thing that could happen is you add their name. I'll use mine here. Randy, I love you. All right? Now rise and shine, all you beautiful people. Bishop Randy Dean here, signing off for this podcast and broadcast, and I'm here to tell you, I love you. Happy trails, y'all.
Thanks for listening to the No BS Bishop podcast. If you like the show, leave a comment on it. Or, even better, share it with your friends. And we'll see you on the next one.